This portion of our training, we will be going over the GAPs. The GAPs are our food safety requirements for the field. GAP stands for Good Agricultural Practices. All workers, visitors, suppliers, and contractors will be expected to follow these practices to allow us to run a sanitary harvest operation. Ken Schweier Orchards is committed to the growing, processing, and delivery of safe, wholesome products to the food industry. We are committed to providing a safe product, following food safety laws, adhering to the industry food safety best practices, and a process of continual improvement. Agricultural operations are conducted in such a manner so as to minimize negative impacts on the environment, both on the farm and in the surrounding community. Every employee of Ken Schweier Orchards should have an understanding of our food safety policies and practices and are aware of their role in ensuring that they are met. Wash hands with soap and warm water before work, after using the restroom, upon returning to work from a break or lunch, or any other time when hands may become soiled. Sanitizers should be used after washing for additional protection, but they are not a substitute for hand washing. There should be no eating, drinking, chewing gum, using chewing tobacco, or smoking at any time in the harvest area. Eating and smoking is allowed in the perimeter of the harvest area, and as this will change frequently, your supervisor will keep workers informed where the designated areas are. Workers are responsible for keeping the harvest areas free of trash and debris. After a break, food and beverage containers, cups and paper towels, and all other trash must be placed in the garbage bins. Personal belongings such as extra clothes or lunch bags are not allowed in the harvest area or on transport vehicles. Workers are allowed to bring personal water bottles with them in the harvest area, but please remember water bottles cannot be set on or in the harvesting bin or containers. Glass or hard plastic is not allowed in the harvesting areas at any time, with the exception of sunglasses and eyeglasses. If you notice that your sunglasses or eyeglasses are missing or broken, please notify your supervisor immediately. Animals and pets are not allowed in the field. Any part of the crop that appears to have been affected by an animal intrusion or a pest is not to be harvested. For example, animal damage or fecal material. This incident is to be reported to your supervisor, who then decides the course of action. For safety reasons, children under the age of 16 are not permitted in the harvest area. Wear clean clothes and maintain a high degree of personal cleanliness. Garments shall have no shedding fibers, shoes must be in good repair, and no open-toed shoes are allowed. All jewelry must be removed before entering the harvest area, with exception of a plain wedding band. No hairpins or other objects that could fall into food may be worn in the harvest areas. If gloves are used by workers during harvest, the following restrictions must be followed. Cotton gloves should be kept clean and replaced as needed. All gloves must be latex-free. Gloves are not to be taken into the restroom, put on the ground, left in the orchard, or put in or on harvesting containers. Fingernail polish and false fingernails are not allowed. Fingernails should be kept short and clean. Workers must tie back long hair, and remember, no bobby pins or hairpins are allowed in the harvest area. Loose items must not be worn or stored above the waist. This includes pens, cell phones, and other items in top pockets. Any cuts or open wounds received while on the job must be reported to your supervisor immediately. An injury report is recorded. Any cuts or open wounds must be properly bandaged before returning to work. Waterproof latex-free gloves that are supplied by our company are required for a worker wearing a Band-Aid on their hand. Persons while infected with an infectious communicable disease, having boils, open sores, or infected wounds, or any other affliction that may spread disease, shall not be allowed in the harvest area. Supervisors shall monitor for these conditions. Workers must notify their supervisor if they get sick or injured on the job. Harvesting containers and apple bins must not be used for carrying anything except fruit. Workers must inspect harvesting containers and bins before each use. Damaged harvest containers and bins must be properly repaired or disposed of. If workers find evidence of contamination from glass, metal, plastic, chemicals, petroleum, pesticides, bodily fluid, blood, or any other dangerous object or contaminant, they must notify their supervisor immediately, and any contaminated produce must be discarded. Food contact surfaces must be cleaned and sanitized or discarded up properly. If packaging material comes in contact with any unsanitary surface or the ground, it also must be discarded. Damaged or decayed produce must not be harvested, and if an apple falls on the ground during harvest, it must remain on the ground. Urinating, defecating, and spitting in the harvest area is strictly prohibited. Portable toilets are available near the perimeter of the harvest areas. Please notify your supervisor if they need new supplies or if they need cleaning. This concludes our GAP food safety portion of our training. We do appreciate your cooperation.